Hi, welcome to the presentation on solving equations with fractions. In this presentation we are going to concentrate on how to clear out the fractions from the equation. Clearing out fractions is a wonderful technique that you can use in all levels of mathematics to get the fractions out of the equation so that you don't have to deal with them. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is you want to look at your equation and you want to look at the denominators that you have in the equation. So here we have 3, 4, and 2, and at that point you want to think, what would be my least common denominator? Considering the 3, 4, and 2, what would be the least common denominator? In this case, that would be 12. 12 is the smallest number that 3 goes into, 4 goes into, and 2 goes into. The next thing you want to consider is how many terms do I have? Now, in this particular equation, the 2/3 x is a term, the 5/4 is a term, and the 1/2 is a term. So you have 3 terms. The reason you want to make sure you understand how many terms you have is because you want to use the 12 for however many terms that you have. So if you have 3 terms, we'll be using the 12 3 times. Okay? Now, to proceed, we need to take each term and multiply it by 12. So I'm going to have 12 times 2/3 x plus 12 times 5/4 equals 12 times 1/2. Now you notice how I set my fractions up. I'm being careful to keep the top and bottoms lined up. In fact, you may even want to write this as 12/1 so that you can keep your top and bottoms of the fractions straight. And once we are at this point right here, you're just multiplying fractions together, so you can cross cancel. 3 comes out of itself once, comes out of 12 4 times, and then you just need to multiply 4 times 2, which gives you an 8. And on the bottom you have 1 times 1, which is just 1, so I can just write this as 8x. Bring down my plus sign. 4 comes out of itself once, 4 comes out of 12 3 times, and then I need to multiply 3 times 5, which is 15. Once again on the bottom I just have 1 times 1, so I don't need to worry about that one. Bring down your equal sign, cross cancel, 2 comes out of itself once, 2 comes out of 12 6 times, multiply 6 times 1, which is 6, and on the bottom you have 1 times 1, so that's just 1. So here's the great thing, no more fractions on this line. You have cleared them out, so that's great. You don't have to deal with them. So now to continue solving, I just need to subtract the 15 from both sides. Now the 15s are gone. On the left I just have 8x. On the right I'll have a -9. Continue solving by dividing both sides by 8, and that gives me a solution of -9/8. Let's move on to the next step. Just as a reminder to all students, once you've solved an equation, make sure you always check your solution. So that just means everywhere you have a variable, you need to put your solution back in there and see if the left side equals the right side. And if so, you have the correct solution. But especially on fraction equations, it's good to use this because you have a lot of steps and it would be easy to make a mistake. So you need to see if you've got the correct solution. So I put my -9/8 in here for x, and once again I've got a fraction times a fraction, so I can do some cross canceling here. And I'm just going to get down to -3/4 for that entire fraction, plus 5/4 equals 1/2. Then I'm going to add these over here. I'm going to get 2/4, and then 2/4 reduces to 1/2. So I am indeed getting the left side equal to the right side. 1/2 equals 1/2. So that confirms that we have the correct solution. Let's move on to a couple other examples here. You want to always understand the process of choosing this LCD. So if you look at example 1, we have 3, 4, and 12. So you want to think about the smallest number that all of these go into evenly. 3's got to go into it, 4's got to go into it, and 12's got to go into it. And hopefully you'll come to the conclusion that the LCD here would be 12. And then you would multiply all 3 terms by this 12. So I'm going to write out this step. And then you would proceed through multiplying that out and simplifying, and that would clear out the fractions. Now look at example 2. On example 2, you have denominators of 5 and 4. So the smallest number that both 5 and 4 go into is 20. So your least common denominator, your LCD, is 20. And now I need to multiply all terms through by 20. Now notice right here that you have that 1. Make sure that you multiply that 1 by 20. Even though it did not have a fraction, it is a term, and you need to make sure that you don't forget that step. A lot of students do forget that step. But after continuing with this process, then you would have no fractions left, and you would continue to solve. All right, in summary, first of all, you always want to ask yourself, do I have an equation? And if so, you can clear out fractions. So looking for the LCD is your first step. Then you want to determine how many terms you have. Then you want to multiply each term by this LCD that you chose. And then all fractions should be cleared out. And you'll just continue to solve the equation as you would any other equation. And don't forget this last step, this very important step here, to check your solution. Thanks for watching this presentation. I hope it has helped you to understand this process better, and continue to practice it. Go off now and practice a few problems on your own, and see if you can get this technique to work.